You serve me up a softball like this to talk about my game? I'm going to take it. So what enemies do you fight? Well, we created them specifically knowing how people play 4-player co-op games. So, for instance, we have a creature called the Grabber. If you ever played Left 4 Dead, it's similar to the Smoker, but the Smoker has a very limited range, so that often if it can't pull you away from people far enough to be a problem. It always kind of keeps you close enough so that you can kind of knock it off, and it's a semi-effectual creature in very certain circumstances, where our Grabber has a really long reach purposely so that it could pull you out of your safety net, and then you have to go off and chase and save that person as a way to kind of split the team up a little bit. So it's similar but different. Brute is a big charging, lumbering guy who can also swat and hit you. It's a pretty classic. If everybody fires at it, it goes down quickly. If you're one-on-one, it becomes a problem. In fact, the health and our weapons are perfectly tuned that your default weapons that you start with, that if everybody unloads a clip into it at once, it will die quickly. In Versus, it's a little bit easier to kill just because humans controlling it make it a little harder. Gooper. A Gooper shoots goo and also can cover an area. Covering an area will slow you down. You can also set that on fire. You can also set yourself on fire and be what we call a flooper, a flaming Gooper. And that will shoot then fireballs at people. And if you walk through those, you take damage. Otherwise, if you walk through those, you just go slow. But if it hits you, it's going to do a little bit of damage on the hit and freeze you. Now, the reason why we wanted this creature was it's a creature that you can watch somebody across the way get gooped, and you could save them without putting yourself in danger because you can just shoot the goop off them. It also is something that people who are down can do to save them. Again, thinking about how players interact in this world. Spawner. Spawner is the annoyance creature. So when the AI is controlling it, it goes off just out of reach, spawns these little turrets that come after you. Now you can use your pulse and knock back the turret shot, and it can actually kill the turrets if you time it right. But otherwise, they're going to be this really big nuisance. They're not that hard to kill if that's their only thing around. But again, if you're not paying attention to everything else and taking care of everything else, they're going to become extra problem. But they're also the thing that eventually you're going to be like, I am so annoyed by that spawner, I'm going to go kill it. And that's then having a player go out of their safety zone on their own accord to go take care of something. And that is like perfect, right? Because that is the thing of like, the player made the decision. It's not me, the game designer, reaching out and forcing them to do it. I've just created a situation that's so annoying to them that they want to resolve it, and their way to resolve it is to split up from the team. That's an excellent creature. And then there's a Flasher. Now, the Flasher is a little bit controversial, as a lot of people haven't seen it, and they want to react to it without playing with it. And it is a creature that is bright. It flashes, and it brings common with it. And so it makes it hard to see what's going on. It adds confusion and chaos. And it's very confusing of what's going on. And at first you're like, I can never figure out how to shoot that. And eventually you learn how to aim and understand where it is based on how bright it is, and you can take care of it. But it still adds chaos. And when you're playing it in the versus mode, you can actually gather up all those common and then send them a certain way. And then of course we have the common, which are just around. And then we have the common horde, which is the event set off, or just every so often the director decides to send it after you. And then inside of all of this, we also have what we call redacted. We haven't said the name yet. And that is a transparent brute of sorts. I'll let you fight it and see. You can figure it out. And then the other creature that we're probably going to have ready for launch is the Ice Gooper. And that is a Gooper that shoots ice. That's about slowing the player down in a different way, where it's not flammable, as well as then you have ice grenades that freeze things, because we have a really cool visual effect of things being frozen and stuff. It's a whole system that we had played with and never found a good gameplay around it, but still kind of like the Ice Gooper. So that is what you're fighting. You have a whole set of weapons and special grenades and special weapons and everything that you can fight that with. So again, check it out. We are playing today at 3. There's games going on a lot. Sometimes they're private, sometimes they're not. You can go into our Discord also and ask about if people want to play. And then we regularly do during the week time games to make sure that people can check it out and play as we continue to grow the community. So hope to see you online.